Hello, this is Neil from iPaintGirls.com. I haven't done a painting in a long time, so I figured I'd go ahead and do one. So what I'm doing here right now is I'm outlining the image on its own separate layer, and then I do my little fill-in technique there, which I put the ants on, then I have a certain action set that after the selection is made inside, then I go to the select options, and then I believe it's modifiers. But anyway, and then you go expand by 2 pixels and then fill in the color. And I just make an action script of that process, so I can just hit that action, and then it just fills in that color for me right away. Right. So it's important when drawing, whether it's in starting color or black and white, to do what I just did here, which is working like thinking layers. So first I draw down the darkest shadow on her arm as if there's only one light source. And then I come back in and add the secondary light source into the shadow. And if that doesn't make much sense what I'm talking about, please check out my video series on the website called A Sexy Approach to Light and Shadow, and that should make it clear. And I do the same thing with the brush there. So first I draw as if there's only one light source, the dark, and then I go in and draw the highlight, and I'll end up drawing a final highlight too, like a rim light. Now I explain all that process in A Sexy Approach to Light and Shadow. It's important to understand how it works, and it just makes it so much easier to get realistic results. Sorry about that. Right. So after I have the midtones, everything the way I want it, then I go in it with a soft brush set to white, and I just lightly touch it, with the white to, where I know the highlight spots are going to be. I don't want it too much though. One thing that's important too when you're working is you want a mixture of light and, not light and dark, but we want that too, but you want a mixture of hard lines and soft lines. And so to get the hard lines and soft lines on her, what I did was, my brain's not working right. To get the way you want to do the hard and soft lines, let me just start over, is for the face, for example, is the bottom of the nose, the eyes, and the lips you want to be hard lines. Also the outline of the face you want to be hard lines. But everything inside can be done with 100% soft brush, and it will end up looking cool. And then you can also add on top of that a little bit of texture if you wanted to. I usually don't do much texture though, but that little bit next to the lip, that was a little bit of texture. And then I'm gonna add texture on the lips as well, a little bit on the bottom of the nose, and then you can also use texture skin brushes to save time, and add cool texture into the skin itself if you wanted to. I usually don't do that though, but sometimes it's cool. If I want to take a painting that far. I typically don't spend much time on a painting, anywhere from an hour to 3 hours. This one I spent an hour on. And you know what? I should probably tell you where to look at the reference image, or maybe I'll be able to put a link to it in the description. I'll put a link to the reference image, hopefully, if I can find it again. And notice also when I work with arms, the same thing. The outline of the arms will be kind of a harder, be a little bit more hard brush, more defined lines. The inside of the arm could be mostly all very soft brush work to get all the definition inside the arms, and that's going to give the detail you need. At first it'll look like, hey, my painting looks really blurry if you just use all soft brush. Well, of course, but if you try to pretty much do all the details with soft brush, but then just use a harder brush or even 100% hard brush to, pretty much do the outline of the arm and stuff like that, you'll see oh wow, that actually looks, it looks good. And then you might want to do a few hard lines of detail too, inside the arm, a little bit here and there. It takes practice to know, where you want the hard and soft lines, but generally that's how I do it. Now I add that rim light onto the breast there. And it's a good idea to practice this technique, and if you want to learn more about this technique, that is painting from black and white to color, is to check out my video tutorial. It's on iPaintGirls.com, and it's only $5. and it's the one beginner painters for the pair tutorial for beginner painters, and I go through all the technique of how to start with black and white and then go to color, and it's definitely worth watching. And when you're painting, obviously in black and white first, and you're using a photo reference, you're painting from a reference, then it might help to turn the reference to black and white as well. So I have the background and the foreground in two different layers, obviously. And I use there's two main brushes I use when I'm going to color black and white. One is the soft light brush set to 20% opacity. The other is the color dodge brush, also set to 20% opacity. Then I just grab cool colors, and I like to paint the background into the image, and I decided I wanted to kind of go with this psychedelic look. I like it. It's pretty cool. That whole yellow, pink, and kind of purple blue just really go good together. I like it. And so on one side, where the blue is, the kind of blue light source, that is going to add like the rim light with the blue, and then the other side is going to add a little bit of yellow light and a little bit of pink highlights and some yellow highlights as well. I forgot to merge the pencil lines or erase them, so I just now did that. And I decided I wanted to kind of make it look like the light was kind of penetrating through her ear, just by lighting up the middle a lot. Now I add a bunch more gold back into her. Then I have to go back in again with a white brush, just a brush set with white, and just lightly touch over it to make the lighting look more realistic. And then I need to go back in and sharpen up some lines because I blurred some stuff out, and then I need to darken some of the hair up and stuff that I just lighted over. And I'm getting really close to being done. Now it's just little details here and there. I'm just looking over the painting, seeing what did I miss, and I realize that her nipple ring needs to be more metal looking, so I will go in and fix that. Now I'm doing my signature, which takes me a few times to get right, and then I'll go ahead and show the image a few times here, coming in and out and zooming in and out. Add a little bit of yellow highlights. Alright, so I'm done now pretty much. So please visit my website iPaintGirls.com for more free tutorials, and also to check out my graphic novel End of All.